Hello everyone and welcome to another Mondays with Michele video. This week's topic, Single and Pregnant, the Paper Trail. The parish registers have many baptism entries with just the mother's name in the parent column and single woman as the occupation. This leaves us with a somewhat lopsided family tree as we are missing the father's name. Fortunately, the parish officials were very motivated to identify the father, and their efforts were documented. This week, we'll talk about the various documents generated and the information they can provide. Sometimes the father would acknowledge his responsibilities before the child was born and post a bastardy bond guaranteeing financial support. But what if the father disputed the situation or ran away to avoid paying support? Warrants would have to be issued. A judge would decide the paternity based on evidence and order appropriate child support payments. Let's look at the case of Hannah Cutt. Hannah was a single woman living in Royston Parish. According to the 1826 parish register, she gave birth to a boy, George, who was baptized on April 30th. The register does not name the father, but there are other documents that can help us find his name. Apparently, the father of Hannah's child had not acknowledged his responsibilities, so a warrant was issued on December 7th, 1825. It names the father and states that 7 months ago, he had carnal knowledge of her body and got her pregnant. So the child has not yet been born, and the parish is anxious to get financial responsibilities in place as soon as possible. George is to be brought in so that he can either post a bastardy bond signed by the Justice of the Peace or be brought before the court at the next quarter session. All this takes time, which brings us to the examination after the birth. It's now March 15th. Hannah is now back in front of the Justices of the Peace confirming the facts. She confirms that George Woodcock is the father of her baby boy, born on February 13th. After reviewing the facts, the justices then issue a filiation order. They decide that George is the father and order him to pay 14 shillings, covering the cost of hunting him down, the cost of issuing the order, and the cost of the overseer of the poor attending court for 1 day. They also determine appropriate child support costs, 2 shillings per week, as long as the child is chargeable to the township of Royston. I read somewhere that the expected support period was until the child was 13 years old. The order also covered Hannah's financial obligation if she decided not to keep the child. She would have to pay 1 shilling a week. The records of these payments will be in the parish accounts. So from these documents, we are able to get the father's name, residence, and occupation. Now let's look at another situation, that of Mary Bailey from Westoe. This example is from the 1770 baptism register for Westoe Parish. Mary Bailey, an unmarried woman, gave birth to a baby girl, Hannah. The register indicates that sometime in July, Hannah, the natural daughter of Mary Bailey, was baptized. Now, in Mary's case, the financial support was in place before her child was born. The bastardy bond was dated May 5th, 1770, 2 months prior to the baptism. Let's take a look at the bond. It acknowledges the father's financial responsibility. It also acknowledges that he is the father of the child. The bond is signed by the child's father. A relative or friend will sometimes also sign. This is in cases where the father may not have the financial means to be able to guarantee the funds. So he may ask a relative or friend to co-sign. All of them are then financially liable if the father can't support the child. Let's take a look at where you can get access to these records. Most of the records are at the local archives. There are some online on Ancestry and Find My Past, but it's a limited number of parishes. You can access them doing a card catalog search using the keyword bastardy. Something to remember, the documents are referencing the mother's name and the father's name, not the name of the child. Most of the documents we've looked at do not name the child. So if you do find a baptism that you think might have related bastardy documents, you need to be searching under the mother's name. Once you search, in this case, I searched for Hannah Cutt, the mother. On Ancestry, the entries will show up under the court, land, wills, and financial category in your search results. You will not find them in with the birth, marriage, and death category. You can also find quite a few records on Family Search, although most of them can only be accessed from a family history or affiliate library and not from home, since they are restricted viewing. As you can see, I did a keyword search, typing in bastardy and Yorkshire, just to narrow the search to those records for the county of Yorkshire. The Family Search website has a wide variety of records available, so you may want to try searching under Poor Law or Parish Chest. As you can see from the titles of some of these items listed in the search results, the records are described in a variety of ways. You will find records listed as bastardy account books or overseers accounts, church wardens accounts, bastardy repayment lists, and poor law records, just to name a few. I'll just do a quick demo and show you how to search both Ancestry and Family Search. Let's start with Ancestry. So to bring up the bastardy records, you want to go into search and specify card catalog. You will then go to the keyword field, type in bastardy. I've got my records restricted just to the UK, and click search. And as you can see, Ancestry has 3 collections of UK bastardy records. I was searching using the West Yorkshire. I'll click on that record set, and I now have a couple choices. I could do a name search. So I could search on Hannah Cut, the example I used in the video. And there we have the 3 records that pertain to the documents I showed you in the video. We've got the filiation order and the filiation proceedings for Hannah. But another way you can look at the records is by browsing the individual records. So let's back out and look at that. So if I click on the collection, instead of typing in a name, I could choose to browse a particular parish. So I can go over here on the right. I can choose a parish. For instance, I could look at Huddersfield. And it asks me to select the year range. I'll look at 1877. And this gives me the option of going through screen by screen. So I can just look one image at a time, or if I want, I can go down to the bottom of the screen where it lists the image number, and I could jump ahead. So I can change that 4 to 23. I just type in the number and click go. So it lets me jump around. And in this particular record, this is Bastard Orders and Records is what it says at the top. I'm getting a record that has the date of the summons, so the court date for both and the petty session. It's got the name of the pregnant woman, when the child was born, whether it was male or female. It gives the name, residence, and trade of the father, and it gives the payment that's been ordered, the weekly amount that the courts ordered the father to pay. I can do something similar on the Family Search website. So once I've signed on to my Family Search account, I go to Search, Catalog, and I can now do a card catalog search. And usually I would do a keyword search. So I could type in bastardy and click search. But if you notice, I've got 1,207 results. There are a lot of digitized films available on the Family Search website. So I would recommend that you try to narrow your search by specifying either a parish or perhaps a county. So that's why I had put in Yorkshire and then update the search. Now, to look at one of the films, I selected the Poor Law Records for Westow in the lower part of the screen. If I click on that, I'm brought to the detail page, which lists what this film contains. So it's got church warden accounts, overseers rate books, settlement certificates, bastardy bonds, overseers of the poor. This camera icon on the right means I can view this from my computer at home. And the other important piece of information to note is the item numbers, because these digitized films could have many different types of information on them. So these particular records that we're interested in are number 3 to 8 in the film. So if I now click on this film on the camera icon, you'll notice they have these numbered separator pages. So we've got page 1. And I can just scroll down through until I find the end of section 1. And here's where section 2 starts at image 88. So I can do this, just literally scroll down through and look for those black separator screens so that I can find where section 3 starts. The other thing I can do, and this is what I would usually do, is I just look at the number of images. We've got 1,190 images, and I'll go, okay, let's try going to image 200. So the little yellow box on the far right there is showing this is the image I'm at, image 200, right over here. I hope you enjoyed learning more about bastardy bonds, examinations, and filiation orders. There's no handout this week, but I hope you take the time to check out some of the records mentioned in the video by doing your own card catalog searches. Thanks for watching.